Okay, it is Training Tuesday, and let's see, what is the date here? It is, I might gotta turn this off, cancel that. What is the date here? It is April 9th, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Sunny day here in Santa Barbara, and let's see, I noticed in our community that when we recently asked what you wanted to hear about for Training Tuesday this week, a couple of you were interested in hearing about how your emails are, how to find out how your emails are performing in Ontraport. And there's a bunch of ways to do that, some better than others. So let us talk through quickly some of the basics about email performance tracking. Okay. First of all, let me start with a mild rant. And the rant is basically this. Everybody tracks email performance wrong. And they track it wrong because tracking it right is more challenging if you're not an Ontraport user. In fact, the entire email industry has sold marketers a bill of goods about how to track email performance because they don't have any way of tracking it any better. And so what they've led you to believe is the way to track email performance is to look at opens and clicks. But the problem with that is that you can't eat opens and clicks, can you? No, you can't. What you actually need in your business is real performance. You need sales. You need customers taking actions that matter, like signing up for a demo or scheduling an appointment or purchasing something, right? And anybody who's been around marketing long enough knows that you really need to measure what actually matters. In fact, there's a book called Measure What Matters. It's a little book that I picked up, man, years and years ago. I can't remember who wrote it. But it's a worthwhile little read if you're into business optimization, basically, of all types. But one of the obvious points is to measure what actually matters, not some kind of proxy for what matters. The reason you've got to focus on measuring what actually matters is that if you measure something else, then you're introducing a bunch of assumptions about what's actually happening in your business that may or may not be true. And unfortunately, very often they're not true. A good example of this is to think about when you're advertising. Say you're advertising on Google or Facebook. If you simply were to track the amount of traffic that you get from your Facebook ads, you would be steered very quickly off course, because what you'll find is, and anybody who's spent any money on Facebook knows this, it's obvious. What you'll find is that it's really easy to buy a bunch of cheap traffic, but that cheap traffic does not buy. As a matter of fact, we made a mistake. We checked the wrong button or checkbox or something in our Google AdWords account last month, and I noticed it when I was looking at some of our traffic reports that we got an extra 100,000 visitors over the course of a couple of weeks in March, but I didn't notice a corresponding spike in free trial signups or sales, and I also didn't notice a corresponding spike in ad dollars spent. And a little more research by the team showed that we had inadvertently checked a box that started promoting our ads basically to an untargeted audience of owners of cell phones in Mexico. We just literally got 100,000 visitors from people on their cell phones in Mexico on these tiny little screens. And you can imagine how useless that traffic is to us. It generated exactly 0 sales. It didn't cost that much. It cost $1,000. So it was a relatively small error in terms of the sorts of errors that we make around here on a regular basis. But but it certainly proves that if you're optimizing for traffic, shoot, we would be winning the game if we thought that getting more traffic to our website was the right answer, is what we should track. Really, getting website to the website traffic to our pages is irrelevant to us. And so you want to look deeper into the funnel, right? So maybe it's visits to the pricing page, or maybe it's free trial signups, or maybe it's demo requests. That's better, right? But you will also find in your business that you can easily find groups of customers that are interested in free trials but not interested in buying, or interested in taking up your time requesting demos or free consultations but not interested in buying. You may find actually that you will end up spending more money on fewer clicks when you're advertising, but that in the long run, those fewer higher priced clicks may turn out, and actually very often will turn out, to be the ones that you actually want, because they are the actual buyers. So what you really want to track is purchases, right? You don't care about how many visitors you get. You really don't even care about how many opt-ins you get. You don't care about how many demos you get. What you care about is not even just purchases. In fact, another story about our own history is that when we were learning to do ads on these platforms, Facebook and Google, back a few years ago, we discovered we could get sales, all the way down to sales, but that we were actually getting sales that didn't stick around. They didn't retain very well, and so we had to begin to look even deeper into the funnel and say, well, we don't just want sales, we want sales that stick around for at least 6 months or whatever it is. And then when we started adjusting our marketing and our ad dollar spend towards that particular goal, which is not just visitors, not just opt-ins, not just demo requests, not just sales, but sales that stick around, all of a sudden we were able to see really what's working to get us the results that we want, and not just results that we assume might be on the way towards the results that we want. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea of you're picking up what I'm putting down. You want to measure what actually matters. Now, the email marketing industry has, as I said earlier, sold you a bill of goods about how to track email marketing effectiveness. They've taught you to believe that tracking opens and clicks is how you track email marketing effectiveness. And why do they do that? Well, they do that because that's something that's information they can give you, and the real information that you want, which is tracking to the actual action that you're trying to drive, whether it's a purchase or whether it's attendance at your event or whatever it might be, is not information that they can give you. Why? Because if you're not an Ontraport user, you're a MailChimp user or whatever it might be, they don't have the data. They can't track that back to what actually happened. They can't track a purchase back to an email click. Fortunately, as Ontraport users, you have that power. And so I'm going to show you how you can set up your campaigns today to actually uncover what's really working to drive the results that you're actually going for, not just opens and clicks. Now, of course, we'll start with opens and clicks because you want to see it. So here it is, right in the messages tab. It will tell you, opens and clicks. I think like this new column editor. Oof, I like it. So you can move this stuff around. Name, type, subject, opened, clicked, not opened, not clicked. Let's put that subject back there. and then and then maybe send. Put that there and save it. We'll get this stuff kind of all organized the way we want it. The reason we have not opened and not clicked here, incidentally, is because these are all clickable numbers. You can click on this 49 here, and it'll take you to a collection of those contacts or these not clickers. You can go to see who those people are, and so that's just a real quick way to be able to get to those customers, so that you can then send them another email or do whatever you want to them. Okay, this is also just a reminder. This is my nonsense account, so unfortunately, there's not going to be a bunch of data in here that I can show you. But here is opens and clicks, right? And what else do you need to know about that? If you get into let's see. This is a little home concert I put on a few months ago. I can't remember. This guy, Tim Blum, and he used Ontraport to gather reservations, and then it sold out real quick. And so I wanted to make sure that people had an opportunity to let us know they weren't coming, so I could invite more people to show up. So I did a tracked link here. I can't make it. Please give my seat away. And you can click stats here, and you can see this is broadcast. So this is not the total that were sent. This is just the test email that I sent to myself via broadcast. But the link clicks, only 5 people clicked on that link, and you can see link number 1, the first link in the email. And so you can kind of see what happened in terms of clicks in that particular case. So that's the very basics. Opens and clicks are one way of kind of guessing at what might be working. Remember, of course, that opens in all email email delivery platforms like Ontraport. Email opens are not a very easily tracked number. That is done by a tracking pixel, a little like 1 pixel image in the email, and many of your users may not see the images, and so they will have opened it, but we will have not tracked it. Again, not a limitation of Ontraport, but a limitation of email tracking in general. So you can't really trust those. The number that actually opened your email will always be higher than the number that we can report to you. Linked clicks are a different matter. We can always track a link click, so that's going to be determinative. If you see link click, that's going to be real. So I always recommend, if you're going to use a proxy for actual results, use link clicks and not opens, right? And you can imagine that opens probably is a proxy for the quality of your headline and maybe the list that you sent to, because if people like your subject line or you sent it to the right people, then they will open the email. Clicks, of course, is reflective of the quality of the content of the email and the offer and the reason people might be clicking, right? So that's kind of how I think about email quality. But let's get to the nitty gritty. The good stuff is in campaign. So, before I go, I want to show you a feature that we released, I want to say last summer, maybe about a year ago. And it's an important one because it's how the magic happens. Now, quick disclaimer, this is what you're about to see is a pro feature, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the tracking features in general in Ontraport are a pro feature, and that really makes sense. It's a little more complicated, and it's kind of functionality that's designed for folks who are advertising, spending money to drive traffic to their businesses, and so that's kind of reserved for the pro users. But let's just jump into settings here. This is also available in the raw HTML editor. Here's the one: add tracking to the links in this email. And what does it say here? Checking this box will automatically add UTM tracking variables to every link in this email. This includes the email's sequence, campaign, rule name, subject line, which will be displayed in the URL. We suggest checking it unless you have a reason not to. Okay, so we're going to check that sucker and save it. And and then we're going to leave. So what is that box actually going to do? It said some stuff. I didn't understand it. Let's just go over here and read the docs on it. So what it's going to do is it's going to take the links in your email and it's going to add UTM variables to the links. UTM variables, I'm not going to go into the deep dive on what UTM variables are right now, but it's going to look something like UTM underscore source. It's going to be your destination URL. So it's, say your link was www.google.com, and then what we're going to do when you click that box is we're going to add $UTM source equals what? Here's what it's going to say. UTM source is going. Oh, sorry, this is from a campaign. UTM source equals Ontraport email campaign. That's exactly what it's going to say. Ontraport email campaign. UTM medium. So I'm going to say equals Ontraport email campaign. So you know it came from a campaign. And it's going to say UTM underscore medium. It's going to say also Ontraport email campaign. But importantly, it's going to say UTM underscore campaign. UTM campaign equals, and what's it going to say? It's going to say your campaign name, the name of the campaign that sent this email out. So important to know that because your users are going to be able to see that. So if it says, campaign to all my idiot customers, they're going to be able to see that. So just be aware of that they're going to see your naming conventions. You may want to make sure you name them reasonable things. And then it's going to say UTM content equals the email subject. So this is, what was it? No show reminder or something like that, right? Is the name of that campaign. I don't know what it was. And then UTM underscore content, I think we decided, equals the subject line. Hey, are you still coming, or something like that, right? I don't know exactly how. All right. So that is what's going to happen to my link URLs when I check that box in that message, okay? And why is that important? Well, it allows us to then track exactly where that user came from when they visit your page next. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that when we track that that link, okay, let's think this through. I'm going to walk all the way through it. When we track that link and we go into a contact record and we look at these fields here. So what do these say? It says first campaign, first lead source, first medium, first content, first term, last campaign, last lead source, okay, all that stuff. So what it's going to do is these are people that are already on your list, right? So these fields will, if you were using UTMs previously, they'll be filled out. Otherwise, they may be blank, but it doesn't matter because they're already on your list. So they're not going to get updated this time. These first variables, first UTM variables, only get updated the first time that we track, when this contact is added to your account. That was the first tracking that we were able to capture. These last ones, last campaign, last lead source, last content, last medium, last term, these get updated every time we are able to track activity for this contact. So when they click that link, we're going to see that they visited your page, and they visited your page with all this stuff in the link here, and we're going to update on UTM source. Is going to go into the source, lead source, and it's going to say what? Ontraport email campaign, right? And the last term or content, I guess it was content, is going to say, hey, are you still coming? So that's going to be populated in here. So it's going to be the last tracking that we captured for this particular contact. Okay, why is that important? Well, because you're going to go in here and you're going to create your campaign. We're going to show you how you set this up. So let's see. Let's see here. Apply. Just so you know, The UTM variables are going to be a little bit different depending on how the email was sent. Like it says here, broadcast from contacts, it's going to say Ontraport email broadcast instead of Ontraport email campaign. The date is going to be the broadcast date here. The campaign is going to be the broadcast date. The subject will be the same. And also you're going to get the group of people that you sent it to, which is pretty cool. For broadcasts, one-off emails. So if you just send to one person, it'll say, it'll say these things here. Also, you can send emails from rules. So Ontraport email rule. The rule name will be the campaign. The email subject will get in there. Sequence is the legacy automation tool. So that'll be, that's how that will look. So back to this. We're going to create this new campaign. So I've got an email. Or I got a trigger, or whatever it might be. I'm not going to bother with this right now. I'm going to say we added them to campaign. We sent an email. We add a wait. We sent an email. We add a wait. We sent an email. Okay, and now we end. Oh no, we got to add a goal. Okay, so here's the crucial part. We got to add a goal to the end. So if it's not about opens and clicks, what is it about? Well, shoot. Are these emails trying to sell somebody something? Very often they are, right? So let's say the goal of this whole process here is that they purchase something. Okay, so purchase product, whatever it might be. Say it's any product, I don't know. Okay, very nice. So I'm going to now, I'm going to go, so this is how you set this up, okay? You've got a goal. You can have multiple goals if you want. Maybe it's they purchase one product. Maybe so it's not any product. But maybe it's like this product, and then they, you can take this and add this here and change the product to that. And maybe there's another possible outcome. Maybe it's they, fill out a demo request form. So maybe it's a form. Contact submits a form. What form? Demo form? Oops. Demo form? Demo request step 1 form? Yeah. So all different possible outcomes that I want to track. I want to know which email is actually, not just opens and clicks, but which email is actually driving purchases, right? That is what's truly important here. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to go, because I don't want to set all that up right now, I'm going to pick another one that's already published. Okay, what does this guy look like? No, that's not going to do it for me. Let me find one here that's going to be, it's going to work for me. I just need something with a goal. All this stuff is not goaly enough. Let's see. Find all my published campaigns. Sales rep performance. Okay, this will do it. Perfect example. All right. So what? Oh, this is a very sophisticated map that shows. Oh man, that's too much. I'm not even gonna. It shows detailed sales rep performance. You can dive into that. It's in the marketplace if you want to look at that. Oh, what is this? Example split testing? Oh, hello. Perfect. Can I look at the performance one? Yes, I can. All right, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, look at this. They added the campaign. In this case, I've actually added a split test. Interesting, right? You can add as if you want to. This is going to actually show me some different information. So this is taking 2 different emails and sending a percentage of my traffic. I can change it 64, 24, or 70, whatever it might be. I can send my traffic down one path so that 76% of my traffic gets this email and 24% of my traffic gets that email. And then, so that's interesting. I can also just, add another wait here and add another email down here, just, follow up like I did it with my other one, yada, yada, right? And then the goal at the bottom is something like, whatever we said before, purchases a product, fills out the form. Okay, so let's see. We go to performance mode. Now, I have this little thing here called tracking, which you need to turn on. And I'll show you in a minute, hopefully, if I remember how to do that. But you just basically turn it on in the administration. If you're a pro user, you go to the administration and you turn that functionality on. I think it's under advanced features. And that's going to make sure that you get all that UTM kind of functionality, the stuff in the email system, the UTM fields in your contact record, and this reporting tool right here. So what are we going to see here? Well, what else? Okay, let me open this. So this is going to say, these are the first lead sources. Okay, hold on. I'm going to change this. So this says these are the lead sources which the contacts on this map first clicked. Okay, but I don't want that. I want to look at last click. So we're going to change it. And in order to look at last click, we got to select a goal. So check this out. I'm going to click on, and it says here, please select a goal to view last click attribution. So let's pretend that this was the goal that said purchases product, 42 cats or whatever it is. So I'm going to click on that goal. And now, what is it going to say here? It's going to say these are the lead sources which the contacts on this map last clicked before achieving the selected goal. And it's going to pull that information directly from the contact records, those last UTM sources. So I can change from lead sources to content, for example. And that's going to give me my email subject lines, right? And so I don't have any data in here, but basically it says no tracking items found. Select a different tracking option above, but what you would see here is a bunch of information on the, each one of the emails that, the subject lines of the emails that drove the clicks that, had those contacts actually achieve this particular goal. So the last email that they clicked before they bought your product, or before they signed up for a demo, or whatever actual action it is that you want to track. And so you're going to be able to see here the number of contacts that clicked, that clicked on any particular, every email that's well, anywhere on this map or not, to be honest, as long as you checked that box in the email that says add tracking links. You'll see the list of emails that were the last emails they clicked that drove this particular goal. And I can click another goal. I can switch to this goal here, and it'll say the last content which the contacts clicked before achieving this particular goal. So that is super, super interesting and useful information. Now, there's another thing here that we can do, and that is goal conversion point. Also interesting. So what goal conversion point is, well, let's see, what does it say? Goal conversion point report answers the question. So this is now a different way of tracking, and this is actually available to everybody, not just pro users that have UTM variables, UTM tracking built into their account. This is available to everybody, and so here it is. Goal conversion point report answers the question, which elements on my map are driving the most goal conversion, by showing you where your contacts were on the map when they achieved the selected goal. This helps you see which map elements are most effective at driving conversion. So what is it going to show me? Let's see, goal conversion point. And it's going to say, please select a goal, and click on this goal, and here, what is it going to say? It's going to show me now what number of contacts converted to this goal from here versus here. So say I've got 100 conversions. This is going to say I got 72 converted from here and 12 converted from here. Well, what does that tell me? It tells me something interesting, right? It tells me that if they're sitting here, that means they've received, all the emails up above. They're likely to have, clicked on the emails they just received, right? If they are sitting down here, it means they got these and they also got this one. very likely. And so they're likely to have converted based on the most recent thing. Now, of course, it could be that they looked back in their inbox and they clicked on an email from back here or even earlier, in which case that's where this comes into play, where you'll get actual specific emails that that drove that conversion. But just in general, you can look at your map and see where on my map are my contacts converting to this goal from, and that'll give you a real good sense of what's working and what is not. So let's see. Another thing that you can do here is you can look at goal conversion rate. And let's see, actually, let me take that out. Funnel conversion. Just funnel conversion. And this will show you, well, you know what? I think this is actually answering a different question. I'm going to leave it at that, because the question that we had today was, how do I tell which one of my emails are most effective? Obviously, you can look at opens and clicks, and that'll tell you something about the activity that your emails are generating. But because you're an Ontraport user, you have a lot more information available to you, and it is information that is a lot more valuable because it's tracking the actual actions that you are trying to drive, not just activity, but actual actions, purchases, signups, attendances to your events, whatever it might be that you're actually trying to drive. And you'll be able to see, using the tools that I just showed you, both where on the map they converted from, and if you're a pro user and you use your UTM tracking, you'll be able to see exactly which emails they clicked on before they converted to any particular goal that you have on your map. So hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully it will help you help inform the way you design your campaigns. You can begin to see how useful these goal elements are in your campaigns. It's cool to just throw a bunch of emails and weights on a map and let it all run, but it's a lot cooler to put those goals in there and use them, because then the reporting that makes available is super useful and powerful for your business. So I hope that is useful, and I hope it answers the question. And until next week, Template Tuesday, we'll talk about something else. I will see you in the community. Cheers all.